Going on to all my embracers. It is Thursday night, guys, and I am excited. We got a good show here for you tonight, and both my co-hosts are here tonight, so I'm happy to see that. Let me introduce myself. My name is Grace from Embrace the Grace, and you can definitely find me here every Thursday night on the JVJ network. And on my own YouTube channel, Embrace the Grace. I am on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm all over the place, and I'm on different panels, and I'm out here trying to make a difference, trying to help people embrace themselves so they can become better version of themselves. And over here we have the uncomfortable and good conversations, the ones that people don't want to have but are so necessary. I just want to thank to all the people that have stayed rocking with me since day one, and who will continue to rock, and who are going to start rocking. So don't forget, like this video and subscribe and share, and keep them emails, texts, IMs coming with different ideas, different reels, and content that you guys send me, because I'm only as good as you guys make me. Even though I'm still, amazing on my own, but I can even be amazing plus infinity with you guys. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring out Mr. Gary D and my boy Smitty. Let's see. Let me get them up on the panel so we can get it started, because we got a good one today. How are you, Gary?
I'm good. Everything's cool. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm still moving. Woke up on the right side of the ground today, so I am blessed and highly favored. I'm looking forward to this show due to the fact that, guys, I'm learning too. I'm going through life just like everybody else. I am not perfect. I am not a saint. Half the stuff we're going to talk about tonight, I didn't done. I'm working on. I just want to be able to bring people along my journey as I'm bettering myself and evolving. I want others to do the same and come along for the ride with me. And hey, I'm learning from you guys too. You know what I'm saying? So Gary, tell people who you are and where we can find you.
What's up, everyone? My name is Gary D. I co-host here with Embrace the Grace. But I also, I'm CEO of Boardwalk Global Media. We have a few podcasts that we do. Currently, we're in the midst of moving, but you can find us on all the platforms. So Facebook, Boardwalk Global Media, Instagram, Boardwalk Global Media, YouTube, Boardwalk Global Media. And also on all those platforms, you could also look up The Real Discussion, which is our main show, which normally comes on Fridays from 8 to 10 p.m. But I'll keep everyone posted on when we will be back again.
Thank you so much for that, Gary. My boy Smitty from Smitty's Corner. How you doing, sir?
Respect to you. You can hear me?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. All right, so as always, it's your boy Smitty. And yeah, you can catch me here every Thursday with Grace. And you can also catch me on Smitty's Corner on YouTube. And you can definitely catch me anywhere where peace and solitude remains. And briefly, I would like to bring everybody's attention to some coffee. That's right. Really, really good coffee. This is CBD infused coffee, okay? Now, this coffee right here is a different type of coffee because it's just better, right? So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and holler at girl Magnificent Mo, right? Okay, you can find her at Magnificent Mo on IG. Now, you got your coffee in your system, because this coffee ain't playing no games. And speaking of that, you need to try it here. Now, this is called, without Google, That's right. Yes. Without back in the day, remember when we used to have to actually remember our homework? We had to remember phone numbers, things of that nature. So, yes, these are all the questions and things that we remember and some, okay? But without Google, you just got to answer the question, right? So, it helps get your brain going, get your juices flowing. And you can definitely find that. Just go to YouTube and type in same old gospel, same old gossip reheated. All right? Call that trainer and get it going. I digress. My mic is muted. Let's get to the show.
That was awesome, Smitty. Look, over here, we support those who support us. Okay? If you have any type of business, any type of product, anything you want to push, I know I don't have 100,000 subscribers right now, but you know what? Soon come. And you want to get in there where you can fit in now. And by the way, I love coffee, Smitty, so I'm going to have to holler at you, girl, because I'm going to need to get that and really do a taste test on live. You know what I'm saying? But I love that. So if you guys have businesses, products, and all of that, bring it. Bring it to Gary D. Bring it to Embrace the Grace. Bring it to Smitty, because we all about supporting each other. Okay? We over here, we don't display sign language. We don't shame. We don't insult. We don't make people feel guilty or always have the feel the need to be right. Yeah, verbatim. God bless, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Okay? No, so none of that is tolerated. So now let's get into it, guys. Today's show came because I'm actually living through this, and I think everybody's going through this. You know, we're living a life and in a world right now, Gary and Smitty, where there's a lot going on. You know, we're not going to get into that, but it's either you woke or you sleeping or you just waking up, whatever the case may be. We all going through stuff, but it's how we deal with stuff that we go through is what really defines us as people and humans. So while I was learning myself and realizing things by myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually practicing what I've learned, and I need to have other people embrace this because it really works, guys. You know, embracing healthy coping skills. That's the topic tonight. Look, we've all done it. We've all turned to things that we know are not good for our health, for our mind, our body. But we do it anyway because why? It's how we tend to cope with what we're going through. And I'm here tonight. I can be one of the first ones to admit I'm dealing with some things that I'm trying to change with healthier coping skills. I mean, I don't have to put it all out there, but I'm not perfect, but I'm acknowledging it. I'm embracing it. And I'm substituting things with unhealthy versus healthy. And this is what it's all about tonight. I want to talk about what is healthy coping skills, why it's important to deal with things in our lives in a healthy manner. Of course, we're going to go through the things that we do that are not unhealthy. And I mean, it's a very broad topic, but we're just going to get to the meat of it. You guys can always do your own research. My go-to is verywellmind.com. So I want to give them a shout out because a lot of my research that I do, I go straight to them. I signed up for their newsletter, and sometimes they end up giving me topics just by reading their articles. So with that being said, Gary, there's have been a time in your life where you were going through something. You don't have to tell us what you went through, but I want to know the negative way, how you was coping with it, and how you've come from that space and learned to cope better on how you coped with that. Because, you know, out here, we get real out here. We talk about, we don't get too deep, but we get just enough to let people know that we're humans too behind these monitors and these cameras and in this YouTube channel. We're human too. So, Terry, tell me about a time where you was coping with something difficult, but you were coping it in an unhealthy manner. But now, go back to that place and see how you've changed and evolved from how you were coping then.
Well, I mean, I've listen. I've gone through some things. Well, I'll say this. I've gone through some things in the past where it was challenging. Did do things in a negative way to make me cope? No, I actually was never one of those kind of people. I was always someone that sort of was by myself, right? So if something went wrong or was messed up or just went completely left or it put me in a different space, I kind of retract and stay to myself, right? So, and that is how I like cope with it with a lot of things because I'm not one to like I'm not wired to yell at someone that didn't do anything to me. Like, you have people that because something happened to them elsewhere, they're gonna take it out on you, right? I'm not wired like that, right? I'm more
Okay.
I'm more or less stay to myself. And I don't know, I may watch a movie, may listen to certain music, but my coping way is more of being by myself and sort of in solitude. And this may sound corny,
Isolation.
but even just meditating, right? Until I'm back in my right headspace. So, but I've never actually went and did anything that was, if you will call it detrimental or bad or just wild out. Because some people drink a lot, some people go do drugs, some people smoke up a storm. I was never that. I stayed to myself and just stayed quiet. Shut off my phone, shut off from everybody until I'm back in my headspace, in my right headspace.
I know that's right. Okay. I mean, and that doesn't mean you're right. You're absolutely right, Gary. Not everybody goes that route, and I commend you for that. But some people do. Most do,
Well,
and
most,
I
yeah,
the,
yeah,
so
most.
Smitty, your turn. Smitty, your turn. Tell me about a time you was coping with something and you was handling it maybe in an unhealthy way, and tell me how you've come from that place and how you do something different or better to cope.
Okay. When when I came home from the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
the unhealthy way that I was trying to cope with what was going on with me at that time in my life specifically, kept on trying to cope by reaching out to exterior sources, right? So I just kept on just trying to, like, I guess you can say, talk to people that weren't equipped or built to address me about what I was going through because most of
Mm-hmm.
them never,
Mm-hmm.
even had to see something like that. So what happened was is I had to figure out, okay, how can I redirect my energy to where I'm not really on the fact that whatever just took place. I need to figure out how can I turn this into a positive. So I started getting back into my art more. I went on ahead when I was able to. I took time to go back out to the woods for a bit, and then more importantly, I really got back into the craft of writing. And that right there has always been a window for me. That's always been something that I can go to get things out. And then at the end of it all, I wound up finding myself here on YouTube. One day I just hit a stream and I went on ahead and started talking and tapping in. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'll just at least take whatever happened and I'm gonna speak on it and at least tell people. So I did that briefly on my channel, right? And so that's been my release on that. But when I was just trying to look for comfort in like people themselves, that's how I got to the conclusion that don't expect much from people. Don't. It'll save you a lot of heartache. So more than coping in everything that you're saying, I do believe still, because I always say it, Gracie, I'm more about prevention. So I've always been preparing myself for moments where something traumatic can happen and I would have to go through maybe being exiled, maybe not being looked at the same, however it may be. Now, how would I deal with that? And so, I mean, I would say that definitely still right now I'm striving, because I don't sit around talking about nothing that takes place. What I do is I just go ahead and I just keep maneuvering through this life in which we live, because I already know it's going to be obstacle after obstacle. I don't care what point in life you think you've gotten to, from the richest to the poorest. But I digress. Mike is muted.
I hear you. All right, so now it's my turn. Back then, when I was younger and more immature and less seasoned, I had a sassy mouth. And one of my coping skills was, talking back. As Scorpios, we can be very venomous with our tongue. And that was one of my coping skills. It was a defense mechanism with anybody that was trying to attack me or if I was going through something. So I learned how did I fix that situation? What new healthy coping skill I was able to learn and utilize and apply in my day-to-day life till this day is not react to everything. I can't say I'm a master of this skill, but I'm getting really good at it. No response is a response. And guys, I have to let you know that growing up listening to my dad saying all the time, it's just a reaction to an action. It's just a reaction. It's like from one end of the spectrum, Gary, to the other. When you grow up listening to that all your life and you had to turn around and realize, no, not everything deserves a reaction. Not everything deserves a response. So that is one of my healthy coping skills that I have embraced, that I'm embracing, and that I will continue to embrace for the rest of my life, because as long as I'm living life, I still have to exercise that healthy coping skill. So it's a good one because it releases you from stress, anxiety. I realize about myself that I don't like to talk a lot in the morning because I talk all day at my job and I'm a podcaster. So when I wake up in the morning, there's only a few things that I would love to wake up to, but definitely arguing, negative energy, and shenanigans. I like to be quiet, Gary. I like to meditate, listen to my gospel, have my time with God. I definitely gotta have my coffee. Don't even talk to me if I haven't had my coffee yet. But that's something that I've embraced, that I've realized about myself, and I let people know, don't come with me with some bullshit early in the morning. I mean, sometimes you have to get at me in the morning, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna respond to it right away. So that's one of my coping skills. But without any further ado, let's over here now, we don't just sit up here and talk our shit and talk about our personal experiences. And we do have to do a disclaimer, and I think I'm going to, represent Smitty and Gary D on this. We are not licensed therapists, and we not psychiatrists. We are just people living this journey called life, who have gone through things, seen things, and we're just trying to share and trying to let other people know that you're not alone. So with that being said, coping skills are things that we can do go ahead, Gary.
Let me just chime in something quick. I just wanted to say that Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I just wanted to say that I think that something that for people to keep in mind, and you actually was talking about this in regards to your dad. Sometimes we grow up and watching how our parents deal with things. Um, that's what we see, and that I guess in their eyes may be the right way, right? But as you get older, you see that, and you learn that, hey, when my dad did this or when my mom did this, and when it that wasn't really the healthy way of coping with that, coping with certain situations. My stepdad growing up, anything like he coped with drinking alcohol, right? He was an alcoholic.
Mhm.
So, but clearly, I knew from a young age that wasn't the way to go. But when I got older, I knew and I think that's probably, I think in some weird way, I think that sort of affected me where I never was a drinker like that. I mean, like I'm a, a I guess a beer drinker every couple of months, but to be drinking alcohol regularly like a lot of people do, I'm not that person. So, but I just wanted to say that some people, I think, when they're growing up and what they see in their household and with their mom or dad or elders, how they deal with coping skills, at that time, it may look right. But as we get older, we see that wasn't the healthiest way to cope with certain things. So I just wanted to chime in and say that.
No,
Um,
that was a really good. Hold on, Smitty. Hold on. That was a really
mhm.
good point because our parents are humans too, and they're not perfect, and they don't know everything. So the fact that you brought that up is cool because just because you were raised that way, that doesn't mean that's going to define you as a person. As you get older, you learn a better way. See, Gary, you learn what not to do. You learned the ugly side of what happens when a person drinks. Parents don't only teach us things and how to do things, but they also teach us how not to do things. Because don't parents always want us to be better than them?
Absolutely.
So
Well, yeah.
that was an awesome point.
Well,
And Smitty, go ahead, chime in on that because that was a good point. I like that, Gary. What did you have to say?
Um, well, okay, so no, Gary has a very valid point on that. One thing that I've definitely peeped, like, because I've been looking this up, doing more research on it. The one thing that I definitely have realized that is actually the most addictive drug nowadays, for some reason, is attention and social media. And so, a lot of people, from it being addictive by itself, all the way down to them actually looking for gratification. A lot of people, a lot of things that they do is simply solely based on the gratification of what social media says. And so what happens? We have a lot of people that wound up getting depressed. But the main thing that I wanted to point out when it comes to that briefly is one thing that I've learned when it comes to when you're trying to, like, let's say, break a habit, you're trying to elevate yourself, let's say, to another level in your life. The number one thing you have to do is you have to replace certain things so that you don't wound up in that state of either stagnation or depression, right? You have to know, because see, part of coping is replacement, right? Coping is replacement. So if something's going on, how do you cope? You have to replace that energy. And if you don't know how to redirect it in something that is beneficial for your mental headspace and your personal peace, that's how we'll get a lot of people who wound up going off the deep end. But with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Back out.
Valid points, gentlemen. So I don't think I finished my thought when I said that up here, we guys, we don't just come up here and be talking our shit. I do research, guys. I look for information. I look for statistics because I want to come up here and really help. My purpose to be on YouTube is to help and make a difference. I don't jump on all the hot topics right away. I sit on it sometimes to see other. I want to do constructive things so we can become better version of ourselves. This is for learning, entertainment, and all of that. And without further ado, my boy Soapbox is in the house. How you doing, fam?
Man. What a day. What a day, what a week. I'm maintaining,
Right?
you know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on right now. You know what I mean? Salute to my family. We going through a rough time right now, but salute to them. But yeah, I'm here. What's the question, fam? I'm here.
Okay, so we are talking about embracing healthy coping skills. So the question, you came right on time. I ask everybody on the panel before we get started is remember a time when you were going through something and you were coping with it in an unhealthy manner? And how did you now fast forward to today? How have you changed or evolved on not going back to coping it that way? You don't have to get too personal in what happened, but just how you was handling it and how do you handle it now?
Beforehand, like I would like usually just run the alcohol, I'll run the like anger or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like those would be my two things. You know what I mean? Amongst other vices, but um that's a difficult question, Grace, because like it's always a battle. Like it don't ever end. You know what I mean? It's not like you just wake up and then everything
You
is just back to normal. You kind of just learn how to, as Smitty was saying, refocus on other things or a lot of things to occupy your mind or occupy your vibration. But it doesn't mean that like things go away. It doesn't mean that things get better. Um, and I think that unfortunately, because when you live unhealthy, you also foster unhealthy relationships as well. They kind of go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to be healthy and
mm,
also it's hard to be unhealthy and then have healthy relationships. It's like when you're usually doing some bullshit, there's bullshit relationships that come with it. When you're doing good shit, then good relationships come with it. It's That's just how it is. It's your energy. You know what I mean? Your energy, is gonna attract the tribe that you're gonna be with. Your vibe attracts your tribe, so that's just really what it is. You know what I mean? But you may have some, in all aspects. At times, you will have people that will either uplift you higher or some people who will pull you out of the shit. They'll see you kind of in some shit that you ain't supposed to be in, they'll pull you out or attempt to pull you out. You know what I mean? And give you a reality check to kind of get you back on track. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're already on track, they'll just inspire you even
mm-hmm.
more and you inspire them. But it's hard, man, because it's nowadays, man, like, people we just too preoccupied, man. We preoccupied with our fucking careers, our phones, you know what I mean? Shit that we think is important. Um, Technology, watching the fucking game, um, wanting to be here, there, and everywhere, and traveling and trying to be, you know, basically kind of, I guess, living our best life. But we don't take time to just do the things that matter. We don't take time to call family. We don't take time to, and I'm talking to myself too. We don't take time to call family. We don't take time to really get to know people. We don't take time to really invest in people. We're just so much in a rush, you know what I mean? And then when people try to get close to people, it's like sometimes we're so desensitized or we're so used to kind of being in our own shell, we don't even want to really like kind of mix with people that much. We just kind of want to focus on what we're doing because we just got into our routine. You feel what I'm saying? So it's easier to be that way. But also in the instance of that, you know what I mean? We will feel the effects of not connecting with other human beings. We will feel that loneliness. We will feel that's why depression is at an all time high because we at times are not really connecting in healthy ways, right? And we are told, but also forced to focus on money and livelihood, right? Because if we look every time we look up something, things are more and more expensive. Not like things are getting cheaper. It's not like, oh, okay, this gonna get cheaper today. I'm gonna go to the gas station. It's gonna be $8. It's gonna be $4 or $5 cheaper, and I'm gonna be cool. Like, nah, it's shit is going up. So like, you got to keep it pushing. You know what I mean? It forces you to do that. But then also, you're not focusing on the necessities. You're not focusing on really your health like that. You're eating. Sometimes you're eating all types of bullshit. You know you're supposed to be eating, but you so caught up in the mix, right? You're trying to make it work. You know what I mean? So it's finding the time for the things that matter, man. People, places, and things that matter, and handling your necessities, but not letting your necessities overwhelm you. You know what I mean? And also knowing that we may want something, but we may not need it at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to recently get a new phone, but I didn't buy the new phone as soon as it came out. I waited. You know what I mean? I waited to the proper time. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's about timing. So we gotta wait to the proper
I know.
time to do things and to be around people as well. So, and that's just it, man. That's really what it is. But you know what I mean? That's where I'm at, and that's all. That's all I got for now.
You're on mute, Gary.
Oh, yeah, I was saying, let me chime in for a quick moment here. I think, well, what I want to add here is, um, I think it's important for us to have good, genuine people around us. And I think that's the challenge, right? Um, because when you have good, genuine people around you, they help uplift you. They help put you in the right direction or keep you on the right track. And I think that right there is very important. And it's not like they're looking, oh, that they're going to get paid or something major. They generally want to see you do well. They generally have genuine good interest in you. They genuinely want to uplift you. And it's challenging finding people like that now. It's very challenging because, again, what was mentioned in regards to social media and all of that stuff. So we got to sort of try to navigate through all that bullshit, and really try to find and connect with genuine people that want to see you do well. That's going to be there for you in a time of need, or when you're having a bad time or a bad moment, or you really need to talk. Um, and I think that's very important, because also too, at the same time, that a lot of this stuff is going on. We see these posts on Facebook where people is like, oh, I don't got nobody to talk to, like, and all these other things where they're sort of detached from everybody, because maybe they didn't take out the time to make good, genuine connections with people, because we all going to go through those moments where we're going to need somebody to talk to, a shoulder to cry on, someone maybe to help pull us out of something. We're all going to go through that, right? So, but it's having the genuine good people around you that really wants to help you, and I think that's the challenge. And I'll end with that.
Okay, so I have to chime in with something, guys, because I'm getting overwhelmed with the spirit. We've been talking for 40 minutes straight, and I've been hearing you guys talk, but there's one thing that we haven't mentioned that we need to embrace. And that's the number one coping skill that would definitely help you deal with your everyday to day stress. And guys, God. That's who we can. Everybody, when people feel alone, they say they don't have nobody to talk to. You have him. I tend and try not to get religious on my shows, but in the world that we're living in nowadays, the journey that I'm going through, I feel that I have to share. It's my duty. I was just told I need to say this. We have to turn more to God and pray. Yes, we should surround ourselves with people that want us to do better. Yes, we should call our families more and tell them that we love them. Yes, we need to do all of that y'all said, but we need to start implementing God more than ever. I'm gonna leave it at that, as we're gonna get back to the show. So, like I was saying before, we educate around here too, not just by our experiences and our thoughts and point of views, but I actually do the research. So let's get it. Coping skills are things that we can do in the moment to deal with stressful situations. When we are feeling lousy, it helps us turn down the volume of our emotions and avoid getting overwhelmed. They help us get through the tough times when we're hitting rock bottom with a little more ease and without doing something that we may regret later. Okay? Why coping skills are important? They're important because it helps us tolerate, minimize, and deal with everyday bullshit. Managing stress helps us feel better physically, emotionally, and psychologically. And it can impact your ability to perform your best and the best version of yourself. Coping strategies can be used at any time, guys, anytime. And using them regularly can help prevent. There's Smitty's thing. He's all about prevention. I mean, you guys kind of gave all away all my information, but that's okay. I'm just reiterating everything. At any time, using them regularly can help prevent some stress from happening in the first place. Coping skills increases resilience because they help us learn to properly handle negative emotions, panic attacks, and other different life situations. So, with that being said, it's important, guys, because stress can hurt us, can hurt our health, can hurt our mental, can make us make decisions. You know, somebody once told me, don't ever make a life-altering decision based on an emotional status. I'm going to say that again. Never make a life-altering decision based on an emotional status. Because you're making a decision based on your emotions at that moment. I've learned to take 24-hour cooling periods. I've learned, again, it all goes into not responding. I've learned to count to 10 when somebody says something offensive or that pisses me off, because I have to internalize it. Am I overreacting? Am I just being a girl? You know, am I warranted for what I'm feeling? I mean, this is one of my coping skills that I've learned to do. And it's an everyday thing, guys. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay? Us old heads have been the way that we have been for a long time. They say they can't teach an old dog new tricks, but if the old dog is willing to learn and sit down somewhere and listen, then yeah, change can be possible. So with all that being said, of what I spoke about coping skills, Smitty, what do you have to add to that? Are you there?
Yeah.
Are you watching the game?
No, I'm right here. So, all right. Well, one thing that I believe is also being left out of what needs to be addressed is, you know, you must actually address the situation in which whatever comes your way, if you're going to cope or learn how to cope with life or anything that comes with life, period. One thing you can't think that you can do, see, I don't want to give the missed signal message that coping means think of something else to do and avoid the situation. No, you must address the situation. No. When it comes to whatever is going on in your life, you must address the situation. Now, addressing it doesn't always mean like physically you talking to whoever's saying whatever it may be, but don't run from and or like ignore whatever's going on, because basically all that is it's like sweeping dirt under the rug. Eventually you're gonna have a big old lump in the carpet and then you're gonna trip up over it. So all you're gonna do is trip up over everything that you've been sweeping up under the rug the whole time, is all I'm saying. So if you think that thing means always avoid confrontation, always avoid situations, no, it is true. You got to know how to pick and choose your battles. That doesn't mean run every last one. It doesn't mean run to every last one. It means know how to pick and choose how to address things. But if you never actually address ever, your coping skill is just hightailing out of the situation, then that's all you'll wound up being is a runner, man or woman. You're just someone who runs, right? And that's not coping, that's avoiding. So we got to make sure that we make that, that specification clear. But I digress. My mic, rock out.
Thank you, Smitty, for that. That I was gonna bring that up, but that's why you're here. The people that I surround myself with tend to have like mindset. That's why I surround myself with them. So, Smitty, you'll see it when I read it, and thank you for that. Absolutely, you got to acknowledge that there's an issue. You gotta not avoid it. So, Miss Lena, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. How have you been listening, or are you just coming on?
I am just coming on, but hi, beautiful, embrace the grace. How you doing? And hello to the rest of the panel. I agree. I know the title and stuff, but I agree with Smitty kind of, because that's my. I don't know. Did he say that's my defense mechanism? I don't like confrontation. I hate confrontation. And if you back me up into the wall, that's when I go off. I have to have no other way to get out of it. Or once in a while, I do blow up. Like I say, I have a bad day. It's a lot of other stress issues, and I will finally say something. But most of the time, I avoid it.
And that's no bueno. You gotta address issues, because you'll never get a resolution. You need to go back and watch the show, Embracing Conflict Resolution. You'll learn a lot, Lena, because it teaches you how to learn. It's not gonna happen overnight. Again, Lena, you've been like that all your life, but the fact that you at least acknowledge it, that's an issue or a defense mechanism, and it's not. I mean, is it working for you? Does it work? Does it work for you?
Most of the time, but when I get it, does become a problem though, because then people let's say the problem is person B. I tell person C the problem, and I avoid it or whatever, and then person C will confront person B because they know I won't go back and forth with the person or say anything. So then my two friends aren't getting along because of me. Then I feel bad. So I have a lot of other people fighting my battles instead of me fighting my battles. It becomes a lot for people people that I'm with, my partners and my friends. It do become a problem. So I try to just, sometimes I try to keep it to myself. I won't even tell them anymore. And sometimes it's so good. Even if I don't tell them, my best friend can read everything. I don't even say anything yeah, I know what's the problem. No, she'll, talk for me or whatever, because she know me so well. I'm gonna be like, oh God. So I be trying not to get her involved and stuff.
I hear you. Intellectual. What do you have to add on to this?
I mean, y'all are on par. I mean, you can't avoid things. You gotta face them head on. You know what I mean? But there's also timing as well. As I said before. So, but you do got to deal with the stuff that's bothering you. You gotta really figure out a way to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? No matter how hard it is or how stressful it is, you know what I mean? You got to come up with ways to do it, and you gotta, as Gary was saying, you gotta have healthy relationships around you as well. All that, ties into it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay. How are you ready? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, I'm doing just fine.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming for the show. Welcome to Embrace the Grace. I really appreciate you coming and now on the panel. I know you've been here since the beginning. What did you have to add to this?
No, I was just listening, and it was 100% right. And I just wanted to say this that we shouldn't be ashamed to say to go to God, to run to God. If He's the creator of all, why not go to the one that created all this from the good and the bad? From the good and the bad. We say, no, I'm gonna handle it myself, or no, I don't want to get religious. Yeah, it is about Him. It is about the Most High, whatever you want to call it. So don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be like, no, I don't want to get too godly. I know there's something. I now, if I can't speak on God wherever I'm at, I shouldn't be there. If I'm hanging with my friends, if I'm chilling with a shorty, if I can't speak about God, I don't want to be around them. That's just point blank, period. That's how I look at it. So I leave it at that.
I
But
hear
everything
you.
you were saying is excellent. It's excellent. I was listening, tuning in, loved it all, appreciate it. And this is God. Let me tell you how this is God. I was sitting here. I was sitting here going through it. You don't know how, everything, we all attached. We all connected, whether we want to believe it or not. And I was just going through it. I was like, man, missing your children, a lot of stuff going on in people's lives. And I was like, damn, I need to do something. Next thing you know, here come the coping show. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You got to take your time. And my brother's talking about, the brother over here was talking about, yeah, you can't run from this. You can't fight every battle. You got to take your time. I understand that now. See, just because you're speaking and you think you're not reaching, some of them words might not be for people on this panel, but some words might be for somebody else. So keep on doing what you're doing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And that's why I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, because it's just something that has moved me, something that, then I'm surrounding myself with great people. And I'm telling you guys, we're here for a reason. And I thank you for the recognition, and keep coming back for more, because we got a lot to offer. And let's get back into it. And again, guys, when I say coping skills also help increase resilience refers to how quickly a person is able to recover from a difficult situation, how quickly and easily you bounce back. That's what building resilience is all about. I know I used to have a habit to dwell in shit. Something will happen and I'll just dwell in it and dwell in it and dwell in it. And I still have a tendency to do that, but I've noticed that my dwelling time has shortened. And that to me is progress. I'll go pray about it and be calm about it now. I'll go listen to some music. I just don't let it, I don't sit in the cesspool of misery or whatever issue I'm going through. That's another coping skill that I'm applying. So it builds resilience. Let's talk about the 5 types of coping skills. There are many different conceptualizations of coping skills, but the 5 general types are problem-focused coping, dealing with problems; emotional focused coping skills, managing our emotions; social support coping. That's when we seek out for emotional help, call a friend, seek a therapist, support from the community, Then we have religious coping. That's when we reach out to the Almighty God, seeking a pastor, reading the Bible. You'll be amazed how calm and cool and collective when you start reading some scriptures. It's absolutely spiritual. And mean making, that means meditating, being grateful, being mindful. Sometimes we sit here and we think about of all the things we don't have, but we don't look around and be grateful for the things that we do have. And you'll be amazed at how, yes.
No,
I can hear you.
Okay. We have to remember a large part of why it is that people genuinely do not know how to be truly grateful for what it is that they have is honestly
Why is that?
simply because it's because keeping up with the keeping up with the Joneses is on 1,000 million. Okay. When we're looking continuously at what other people are so-called doing and what's going on, what we do is we wound up losing perspective of what's really around us. See, a large part of like even myself, I don't I don't have everything in the world. I'm not even rich. I'm not even considered none of that. But nobody can tell me I'm not so wealthy. One, because it starts with inside. Two, because I actually know how to appreciate what is around me now. So when you say that people don't even know how to appreciate that, I keep going back to the old wise quote: one who is not content with what they have now will never be content with what they can possibly obtain in the future. So, you know, a
Mm.
large part of that it starts really truly from within yourself. If you don't see or recognize your own personal value, if you really believe that your value is based upon where you're able to go live at and take pictures, what island and stuff, how much jewelry you can obtain, how many likes and subscribers you can get, everything is about numbers and paper money and everything else. So people are truly losing perspective of who they are in the first place. You have no clue because everything that you based yourself on is exterior affirmation. So if everybody's looking at, oh dang, well look doing, oh my gosh, yeah. Now I saw my friend, her and they was on the trip. I'm trying to do that. If everything is based upon that, everybody trying to top somebody else, then how ever do you ever just sit back and say to myself, God dang, but look at what I actually had. You see? And you know what I do for exercise, believe it or not, and I don't know. Some people may say it's messed up or whatever, but I actually just take time and I'll look at like just everyday lifestyles in other countries that aren't us. And I swear on life, it brings me back to reality
Hmm.
every time. Every time I start getting a little bit uncomfortable and I start looking like, but they don't even have sidewalks. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and fall back. I digress. My mic is muted.
I mean, Mindy, you're right. I'm gonna give you a perfect example that I went through. I had to go somewhere, but I had to walk. And I was mad that I had to walk, but I did it. I did what I had to do, and I walked. And while I'm walking, I see a gentleman, a homeless gentleman with no legs. And I look up at God and I say, man, I hear you. I hear you. I'm here bitching about that I had to walk where I had to get to. Here's a person in a wheelchair with no legs that can't even walk. You see what I'm saying? It's like we take things for granted. And when I realized what he was trying to show me and tell me, I mean, I still do it sometimes. I gotta keep it G, but I complain less now about me having to, I had to have to walk. And you know what? That's okay. I got legs. I'm good. My time will come. And you're absolutely right, guys. Timing. One, we shouldn't avoid issues, but learning to pick and choose the issues and the time. That's a great point. I don't know who brought it up, but y'all taking all my ideas, and that's cool because we all a fam over here. But it's timing too. There's sometimes you got to put it in the chamber and wait for later. You don't want to ruin a good day. You don't want to ruin. You save it for. You don't save it for when you're angry. That's the main thing. Or you bring it later. Or you bring up old shit. In the middle of an argument. But everybody here on this panel is absolutely right, and I agree with you guys, and I appreciate your feedback. But we're just here tonight to learn about the coping skills and what we could do to be better and to cope better. Because again, coping skills can be used at any time, and using them regularly can help prevent some stress from happening in the first place. Have you ever noticed that you get stressed more easily when you're tired or hungry? When you're hungry? Practicing healthy habits such as getting enough quality sleep, eating nutritionally balanced meals and snacks, and being physically active can help lower stress levels. The same can be said for following simple routines such as waking up and going to bed at the same time each day. Routines, because us humans, we're creatures of habit. Routines let us know what to expect. In turn, helps us feel more safe and secure. And the security of routines can be easily important during the time of stress. Doing what we know we were supposed to do, getting up in the morning, doing our same routine, it's like it helps us stay focused. It's a coping skill. That's why I said, guys, I don't like BS in the morning when I first wake up, because I feel that it sets the tone for the day. Does that make sense? You wake up with yelling and screaming. Some people can brush it off and let it not bother them. Don't let a moment in your day ruin your whole day. I get that, but you want to start off on a positive note. So again, routines can easily be important during times of stress. Now I know a lot of us already know this, but we're gonna go over it. The unhealthy coping skills to avoid, the things that we do as humans, that most of us have done. Let me not add everybody in it, but come on, man. I mean, there is a time when we're going through something. We'll drink, we'll use drugs, we'll overeat, we'll smoke cigarettes, we'll overspend, talking about therapy shopping. No, motherfucker, you spending your rent money because you're depressed, knowing in 4 more weeks, not only you're going to be depressed, but you're going to be homeless. Okay? Venting to others is too much too. When too many people know your business and they're really not doing nothing to help you, what's the purpose? Take your business to God. That's one that'll listen. Here it is, Smitty. Avoidance. It's an unhealthy coping skill, Miss Lena. Avoidance. It stresses you out, Lena. It gives you anxiety. I swear
I did not hear what she wrote before she said this. I did not. We did not rehearse this.
I know. But that just goes to show that great minds think alike. And then a lot of us has used sex as a coping skill. We make a lot of sloppy decisions based on an emotional status. You having a bad day, you're pissed off at your wife or your girlfriend, and you go to the bar, get drunk. I mean, it's things like that I want to talk about, and how we can embrace to turn it around. My boy Biggie said it the best: change a negative into a positive. I'm trying to change the negative things that I do and my vices into positive things. Have I gone there 100%? No. Am I trying every day? Absolutely. And that's all we can do as humans, is try to embrace it and run with it. Unhealthy coping techniques may offer some temporary relief, but they tend to make things in the long run still unhealthy. These unhealthy tactics can also lead to other problems that create more stress and making coping more difficult. It's just like a person that's on drugs and they want to forget about their problems and take that hit. But as soon as that hit is over, the problems are still there. So again, we all not perfect. We've all run to this. Most of us have done this. We're not here to judge nobody. We're just here to point things out and see how we can do better. Did you guys have anything to say, to chime in with that before we talk about the healthy coping skills? What other unhealthy coping skills you guys can think of that I haven't thought? Oh, I just thought of one. Social media. A lot of us are addicted to social media. Anybody? Does anybody have any other things that we tend to do as humans as considered unhealthy coping skills? No? I covered them all? Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay, so let's now talk about examples of healthy coping skills. What can we do? Establishing and maintaining boundaries, practicing relations and mindfulness, deep breathing, meditation, journaling, getting regular physical activity, making to-do lists. You guys would be surprised what taking a nice hot bubble bath can do. Giving yourself pep talks, working on your time management, asking for support, listening to calm music. I love music, guys. When I'm in the mood and I want to relax, or I love listening to music. Going for a walk, reading a book, coloring, drawing, painting, writing music, making music, playing an instrument, having just positive thoughts, taking a walk on the beach, just doing something different from what you're doing now. Go ahead. Who's chiming in?
That chill music and that bubble bath. Hey, that'd be the one right there. That chill music and the bubble bath. That'd be the one for real.
You'd be amazed. Self-care.
I was listening. Was trying to run
is vital for self-preservation.
I was listening. Was trying to run to the phone.
Here.
I heard when you said what was I love it. You said what was some negative coping skills? Did anybody mention like drug abuse, like alcohol and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was talking about the unhealthy coping skills that a lot of us as humans, imperfect humans, tend to run to. Again, we're not here to judge nobody. It's just to make you think. What can I do better instead of this? What can I embrace instead of, and can I unbrace? So we went through drinking, sex, hold on, let me go to my list. Overeating, smoking, overspending, avoiding conflict. I mean, we all know what we do. We all know how sometimes we do unhealthy things to cope with our.
You did liquor though.
Oh, absolutely. That was the first one.
Oh, I'm just.
You know.
Yeah.
That was the first one. I mean, that came off of the show we did a couple of weeks ago, alcoholism in our community.
Yes.
So, guys, if you haven't noticed, all these topics kind of like intertwine each other, and I just keep building off of it and building off of it. And then Lena, I was talking about the things that we can start doing to replace the things that we're doing. Do you guys have any other idea? I mean, Mr. Intellectual said that bubble bath and that calm music be everything. I agree with him. I have now made it a point every Friday night after work. That's gonna be my thing. So it's like, self-care. It's important. You're not being selfish. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. When you're in an airplane, what do they tell you? Put the mask over your face first before you put it on to your children. You're no good to anybody if you're not good to yourself. And that's some bars I'm dropping right now. And that's coming from a person that I have always made it a point to always help everybody and be there for everybody. And it took me to hit rock bottom to realize that I was never there for me. And then made me realize that who's really there for me. It's easy to be there when it's good times. It's easy to be there when you got money and you got money to go out and but who's gonna be there when you down and out on your ass? That's something to think about. And if you ain't got nobody, you got yourself. You got, you know who, the Almighty. But I guess what I'm trying to do is trying to avoid to see if I can help people not hit rock bottom and make them realize you guys wouldn't be a man. I would, one of my stress relievers. First of all, I love music and I love to drive. So I always make sure I have a car with a sunroof. And I just take all those windows down, open that sunroof, put my music on, get on the highway. And I always end up being at the beach for some reason. I love the beach, the water, the pier. So these are things that it's okay to do. It's okay to tell your partner, hey, I'm going for a drive. And that person needs to respect that. And not think always the worst. Well, where are you going? You talking to somebody? We have to learn to take care of ourselves.
Another thing I know,
we don't do that
help. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk over you. I was just saying, anyone say traveling, and there's actually research that says people who travel once they on their vacation, if they have a good vacation and come back, it generally tends to reset your mood and stuff. It brings people to have a positive outlook on life and everything. I travel once a year. I need a mom vacation or like a girl trip. I just need to get away for a few days. That's all. Like I went to Dominican Republic this year. Enjoyed myself. Would love to go back. I've been before. Huh? Yeah, Punta Cana.
No,
and I've been to Santo Domingo. Have Dominican.
Okay, Santo Domingo.
Much love. Have you ever been?
Babe, I'm half Dominican. I lived in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, you lived? You were born here? I didn't know that. That's beautiful.
No. I wasn't born there. I wasn't born there. I'm from New York, but I have lived there. So,
what part did you live?
Santiago.
Oh, duh. Oh, I'm sorry. I know you probably don't want your info out there, but yes, Santo Domingo. I've been to Santo Domingo when I was little, and I've been to Punta Cana recently. It's beautiful. I enjoyed the food. Good steak, very good. Y'all know steak is very good. But I had a good time. I just needed. I love being a mom, but sometimes it's nice to, be with your girls or be with your friends or somewhere and just get away. No call from the job, no nothing. Just to exist and just, take in nature. It was really nice. Swim with the dolphins. I should put my dolphin pick up, but my arms are big as hell.
Yep. My safe place is Jamaica. That's where I like to go.
I love Jamaica.
Everybody,
too.
you have to.
What part of Jamaica did you go to?
I like that coping skill. Ocho Rios, Mobe, Negril.
Okay. Can we not turn this into girls trip?
I'm sorry. I had to go Jamaica. They made me feel like I was normal. I love it. They love their fat women. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I felt normal.
Rock out.
That's another coping skill, ladies and gentlemen. Traveling. So that's a good one. So do you guys have any other ideas?
Traveling is traveling is definitely great. It definitely resets the mood. For some of the places that I've been, definitely, because sometimes at one point my schedule was really, really crazy. So when I was able to vacation a couple of times, I took some great trips, and it definitely does reset the mood, your energy, your aura, and you're ready to come back and take on everything. But what I wanted to say was, I think that two of the things that really help me in how I deal with things. One, as I mentioned earlier, was I isolate myself and sort of decompress and meditate until I'm back in the right mind space or the right headspace. That has always worked. But one of my mentors, when I used to work on Wall Street years ago, he dropped a jewel on me. I think it was like maybe 25 years ago, and he was about 65 at the time, and he basically said, um, anytime you're worrying about something, he said, I forgot what the I forgot what the exact conversation was, but he said, um, if you wanna, think of whenever you want to deal with a problem, think of it like this. Think of the worst situation of whatever that is times 10 and plan for that,
Mm.
right? And that jewel right there got me through a lot of things. A lot of things.
Just like
Because
that saying. Oh, I'm sorry. It just made me. I'm sorry, Gary. It just made me think of that saying. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
well, I think you could that it could also be said like that too. But I mean, but that jewel that my boss and my mentor dropped on me, 25 years ago, that helped me so much because anytime after that I've encountered, some serious situations, whether it's very, whether it was drastic or traumatic or some type of urgency, I was always able to take care of it in the right manner, right? So yeah, so those two things, very, helped me a lot, and guided me a lot on how I dealt with situations. Like I said, me being, I would be isolating myself and just meditate and decompress, and the jewel that my mentor boss dropped on me. Those two things helped me out, most of my life.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it's whatever works. Everybody, guys, is not one size fits all. Everybody's different. Everybody handles emotions in life differently. The whole point of tonight's show is just to learn and embrace healthy ways of going through life. And again, I mean, I guess I got to reiterate it. We are all human. We are not perfect. We are all in a work in progress to the day we take our last breath. So with that being said, Smitty, you there?
Smitty's probably coping right now. No, just kidding. He messing with you. Drinking. What's going on?
He's eating.
No, I'm just eating Halloween candy. I'm good. Nah, what's
Already?
the question, Gracie? Yeah,
The question is.
I got bowls around the house.
The
Anyway, what you
question
think?
is, when you've dealt with somebody and you see the way they cope with something, not in a positive light, do you address it to them or do you let it ride?
Stranger or someone close to me?
Someone close to you.
Depends on who it is, and depends on how I'm going to address it. Um, I'm somebody who is always observant. Not everybody
Mhm.
can take what you're going to say, maybe in certain ways. So the point is, you want to make sure you get a message across to them. So I would observe the situation, and then from there, I'll go ahead and address it accordingly, and even down to timing. Some people just give them a while. Just give them a minute to kind of get their stuff off, and get back to them later. But other than that, nah, I'm going to address it in the sense of if they need me to. Sometimes people don't need you stepping in their stuff. So it's
I
all
mean,
about the observation of the situation. But if I was to address them, I guess I'll make sure that I go ahead and tackle it head on in the most respectful way possible, because I'm not about like kind of tiptoeing around things. I just kind of get right to it and just cut the fat off, get the fat off the meat and let's go ahead and get to it, right? So that's just me. But I digress. My mic is muted.
I mean, I hear you. And, they do say that approach is important to certain people due to the fact that, okay, I'll give you a perfect example with me. I don't respond too well to yelling. I'll shut down. But if you come at me in a cool, calm, and collective voice and actually try to talk to me, I'm all ears. But when it doesn't work for me. Maybe it's because I had a dad that, he yelled and he pulled rank a lot. So with that being said, because I grew up in that environment, I don't respond well to that environment. And I let people know. And it's all in the approach. A lot of people can't handle certain approaches, but sometimes they need it. They need it. What about you, Gary? What's a time when you saw somebody deal with something and you felt that the way they coped with it needed to be addressed?
Well, I mean, I've similar to what Smitty said. It depends on who the person is, right? If it's someone that's close to me, then I will talk to them about the situation, and see if I could help them address it. If it's someone that is not close to me, then more than likely I wouldn't say anything. It's just that, I think that I will, more times than not, it would be someone that's close to me that I would, I would try to talk to them about a situation and let them know. And, sometimes they'll be receptive and then sometimes they won't be. But, the interesting thing is that the times that the person wasn't receptive and what I said happened, then they want to come back later. And I'm like, well, because I think a lot of times we talk from experience. Well, not I think, at least I know with me, I talk from experience with certain situations. So, and if you have someone that is telling you who's, look, I went through the same thing, I understand the same emotions, this, that, the other, and then the person, they really not listening or don't want to listen or what have you, or they don't want to pay attention, and then they do what they want to do, and then things don't turn out right. Then they want to come back and want to either be sorry or want to do something different, and I'm like, nah. Like, so I guess
Gary said nah.
Yeah, it's like, come on, like, because to me, if you're that close to me and you're going through something serious, that one, if I'm going to help you, that means I care. At least in my opinion, like that means I care and I'm concerned. I'm not going to tell you anything wrong. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm going to tell you, like, here's how you deal with the situation, or here's how I dealt with it, or I totally understand what you're going through. I know the emotion because I went through. So, but I'm trying to help you because I care. I mean, I would think that would matter to some people, but I guess it doesn't.
And you guys, you both bring up a very good point. You have to consider the source. If that person is valuable to your life and they matter to you, what they have to say to you should be held in high regard. But if it's just somebody that is a flyby, they don't matter, they're not detrimental to your, they're not in your life like that, then I can understand why some people will brush them off. But again, it's just a matter of surrounding yourself with people with like mindset, are trying to level up, are trying to come up. There's a lot of people out here in these YouTube streets, and they're not really trying to help. They're not not really trying to make a difference. They just want to gossip. They just want to talk shit. You know, they want to belittle and demean, and you know, and that may work for some people. You know, again, I'm not perfect. There's been some hot topics on this topic, and a lot of people didn't agree with me, or I didn't agree with them. But you know, you have to learn to have the conversation and agree to disagree. I mean, I purposely sometimes go in on panels and start shit and ruffle feathers just to call. You know, I'll say a comment on Instagram. I made a comment that has received 735 likes, but it has brought so much dialogue, and it was so simple. Happy spouse, happy house. Why do women feel they're so self-entitled? And I mean, it blew up, Gary. It absolutely blew up, but I did it on purpose to bring the dialogue, to have people talking. You know, because people want to, like Smitty said, they want to put things underneath the rug. Come on. What is this happy wife, happy life bullshit? There's a man not entitled to be happy as well? So that's the controversy. I'll cause controversy sometimes just to bring the dialogue. I troll. I you know, but I troll respectfully, you know, and I speak my truth. But it's necessary sometimes if you want to make a difference, if you want to have that conversation, because sometimes people won't bring up that conversation until it's brought up. You know?
Well, it's important. It's very important, and we've said it here from day one. It's important to have the real conversations, and a lot of people do not want to have the real conversations. Some of these YouTubers do not want to have the real conversation. They only want to talk about what sounds good, right? Or only have their view, and that's it, right? And that's not how this is supposed to work, right? If you're really about change and educating people and properly informing people, then you have to have the real conversation. And most of them don't really want to do that.
I mean, I agree with you. That's why I refuse to buy followers or subscribers. I'm growing slowly but surely, but it's organic, and I'm proud of it. And I'm proud to have you guys on my panel come in week after week, help with content, music, production. You know what? Because I'm not building this plane by myself. You know, I remember that, Gary. We flying this plane, but you know, we building it as we fly. Just like Kevin Samuels used to say, and look what Kevin Samuels built for himself. You know, I used to get upset when I would have technical difficulties and be all in my feelings for 2 days. I said, you know what? It comes a time where, you know, it happens. Am I saving up for the new laptop? Absolutely. By the way, if you guys want to support the channel, don't, you know, support the channel. $ Embrace the Great 23, support the network, the JVJ network, because you know what? I have nowhere to go but up with this, and I'm not giving up because I believe in Embrace the channel, Embrace the Grace. Enough people believe in me, and I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. So, with that being said, guys, I didn't really go too deep into this topic because it is very broad. But the fact remains is that I wanted at least to start having the conversation. People think about ways that they can try to replace something negative, something positive. I would love you guys to come and show me and tell me things that you have changed or are changing. You know, we can have a part 2 about this because it's good to realize that there's some you could do or handle something in a much better way, or in a more advanced way versus the way you've been doing it. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. You got to do something different to get something different. Makes sense, Gary?
Yes, it does.
So with that being said, we are going to go into our final thoughts. I mean, I know sometimes we don't go 2 hours anymore, Gary. I don't beat it down. I don't beat a dead horse. We talked about it. We got what we had to say, and we keep it moving. Now, sometimes it'd be 3 hours long. It just, I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it. So, with that being said, we're gonna go through our final thoughts about coping with healthy coping skills. Gary, I'll start off with you, then I'll take Smitty, and I'll finish off, and we can ride off to the sunset. So, Gary, with everything that we've talked about, everything that you've heard, is there something different? What's your takeaway with this conversation tonight?
I mean, listen, I think, my takeaway for the people that's listening and that's going to listen, you, one, I think they have to understand that everybody's not wired the same, right? So everybody copes different. Um, I think that you have to face whatever the issue is that you're dealing with, um, and deal with and figure a way how to deal with that. Um, and it's important to have good people around you, even if it's one good person that keeps you grounded, that you could talk to. I think that is very important. I mean, if you have that, then I think you can go a very, very long way. Um, um, and because everybody would like that one person that they could talk to and confide in, especially during these kind of times where things are very crazy. So if you have that one person that you could confide in and talk to, um, that can help you and you keep you grounded, I think that can go a long way, right? That can definitely go a long way, and that can help you cope with whatever that you're dealing with. And sometimes it's just needing a person that you could talk to and vent to, who understands. Not many of those people are around now. And on that, I'll just end and I'll just say, um, I'm Gary D. You can find me Boardwalk Global Media. Um, you can find me on A Real Discussion. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And Grace, thank you again for having me on. And it's nothing but going straight up from here.
I know that's right. And thank you for coming. I always appreciate your presence and your value that you bring to the channel. Thank you again. My guy Smitty in Smitty's corner. I'm in Smitty's corner. I don't know about y'all, but y'all better get in that corner, because I'm telling you,
I appreciate
subscribe
you.
to his channel, because you've been bringing up some good stuff. So go ahead, Smitty. What's your final thoughts on this, and what do you have to say?
As always, Gracie, you definitely have topics and discussions that are very much so thought provoking, and discussions that actually need to be had. Uh, what is actually very interesting about how you do things is how you can take something that is actually educational, take something that is actually thought provoking, to have the entertainment quality incorporated in it. So I really do appreciate your channel. I appreciate your platform, and you definitely know that's really rocking out with you. All right. With that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. I love us. Reeves, right?
Thank, thank you for coming again. I'll know I'll check you out next Thursday. And with that being said, guys, look, I know in today's world we are all dealing with a lot, but we must embrace the life that God has placed upon us and learn to deal with it. Healthy coping skills can help protect from your stress and face problems before they become more serious. By understanding the two main types of coping skills, you can then better select strategies that are suited to different types of stress. If you are struggling to practice healthy coping skills or find yourself relying on unhealthy ones instead, talking to a mental professional can be helpful. A therapist can work with you that will help you develop new skills to serve your mental well-being for years to come. Learn how to manage stress and deal with life's ups and downs is a process, learning that continues through our entire lives. We are a work in progress from the day that we are born, from the day that we take our last breath. And don't forget to always, always include God in everything you do. And I promise you that you will see a difference. And with that being said, I am Grace from Embrace the Grace. For all you that came and supported me, don't forget to press the like button. Thank you for rocking with me. I really, really appreciate it. It is an honor and a privilege that I am able to come up here and talk to you guys and think and feel that I'm making a difference. I'm making a difference for my damn self because, like I tell you guys, I am learning as well. I learn every show I do and I do my research. I learn something new. I have a takeaway. Maybe I'm doing it as I'm researching it. So if this has reached anybody, it's for you. And I hope that you keep rocking with me. Thank you for coming. Not sure what the next topic is going to be. Sometimes it comes upon me. Sometimes I get it from my embracers, but you'll know and you'll see it. So with that being said, guys, God bless. Thank you. Peace. Thanks for coming.